For the families of the Israeli hostages held by Hamas, this is a pivotal moment. Their pleas, vigils, and protests have helped sway the public mood towards accepting a pause in the war against Hamas in order to get the hostages home. Shai Benjamin's 57-year-old father, Ron, has been in captivity for 121 days.
It breaks my heart because I never know if my dad will be a part of the deal. We just need that deal. They need to get out. They need to be here as soon as possible because time is running out and we need them home.
But as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet met Sunday, there were divisions over what Israel should give up to get the more than 100 hostages back. The far-right ministers who keep the government in power want the war to go on. We will not agree to any deal and not at any price, said Netanyahu, trying to keep his options open as international pressure for a deal mounts. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will spend the next several days in the region pushing to get an agreement on a ceasefire and a plan for Gaza after the fighting stops. This Jerusalem-based political scientist says Netanyahu will soon have to pick a side.
It's all about maintaining his coalition. The extreme right is pressuring him, he's pressured. So he's saying some things in Hebrew to the coalition, and in English it sounds more moderate. At the end of the day, we'll have to decide.
Foremost for many outside of Israel is that a pause or truce would let more help into Gaza, where conditions are dire. A videographer working for CBC News took these images after Israel's military vacated part of the north. There doesn't appear to be a livable building left standing. Resident Abu Tamar Harb said, "My blood and sweat is just gone. In the blink of an eye, nothing. The world was erased." There were chaotic scenes in Gaza City as people trying to get food and humanitarian relief were sent fleeing by weapons fire that some blamed on an Israeli tank. People are struggling. They can't find anything to eat, said Zakaria Shaniora, who was caught up in the shooting. They put their lives at risk so they can get a bag of flour and a can of meat. Most Palestinians in Gaza have now fled to a tiny area in the south surrounding Rafah next to the Egyptian border. It's where Israel's defense minister has suggested Israel intends to move its war efforts to next.
And so, Chris, the next move in this conflict appears to be up to Hamas.
Well, Israelis and Palestinians, Ian, have all been hoping for word this weekend, but there are persistent reports that the holdup in a deal is over the length of the pause in the fighting. Benjamin Netanyahu has told Israelis he will not accept full withdrawal from Gaza, but that is what Hamas says it wants. U.S. officials say that while in the region, Antony Blinken will be relentlessly pursuing what they call a sustained pause in the war. Ian.
Chris Brown in Jerusalem.